Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start our program today, and we're very, very pleased to have with us one of the top national anthem players in the country, Johnny Holiday, who's really presented and played the national anthem in many major events, but he's also a veteran right here, serving here in the Minneapolis area. So without further ado, Johnny Holiday with the national anthem. We're honoring Danny Vargas, who's the chairman of the Friends of the National Museum of the American Latino. It's a long title, but it's about a dream of having our national museum in Washington, D.C. In recognition of your outstanding leadership as chairman of the Friends of the National Museum of the American Latino, a nonprofit organization whose goal is to create a museum in our nation's capital to educate, inspire, and encourage respect and understanding of the richness and diversity of the American Latino experience within the United States. Also for your decades of entrepreneurial success and your public service on the local, state, and national levels, and your commitment to your heritage, culture, and country. Therefore, with the appreciation and respect of the Minnesota Latino community, this commendation is presented to Danny Vargas.
I'll accept this award on behalf of the people that I've tried to help over the years and on behalf of the community that I've tried to represent with humility and with dignity, a community that has contributed to this nation for over 500 years, long before there was a United States of America. You can applaud that. In fact, I would argue that this country would be unrecognizable today were it not for those 500 years of Latino contributions. Imagine, I want you to picture with me, imagine, if you will, close your eyes and imagine a United States of America without roughly the lower half of the country and most of the West. We don't have to, because for over 500 years, Latinos have been settling in founding communities throughout this country. It is for that reason, these 500 years worth of stories that are missing from our museums and missing from the pages of our history books, that we need a National American Latino Museum on the National Mall to be able to recognize and acknowledge and remember those contributions.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to turn to our next recipient, and it's your friends and ours, Frank White. How about a hand for Frank White? Yeah. In recognition of your career-long devotion to promoting the benefits of sports and recreation and your outstanding career of officiating various sports, along with serving on the boards of many associations, also for your award-winning efforts to promote peace and reduce the incident and impact of violence in youth sports, and your commitment to your heritage and culture. Therefore, with the appreciation and respect of the Minnesota Latino community, this commendation is presented to Frank White, ladies and gentlemen.
I want to share with you briefly, as you saw some of the stuff on the screen, as I was looking, I was like wondering, man, what happened to my hair? During my life, growing up with a father that was African American and a mother that was Mexican, it was somewhat challenging for me because every time I filled something out, you went to school and you had to fill out one of those boxes, I was always other. Okay, let me say that again. I would fill out the boxes, you know, and it's ask you who you are. Are you this? Are you this? And there was never anything for me other than other. So it was difficult. People would look at me, and maybe because of my size, maybe because of my color, a lot of people took me for being just African American. Or they knew my father, or I played sports, so they figured if I played basketball, I must be black, right? Because that's all we do. For me, I want to share tonight how important it is for me to share with you the pride that I have for my mom's family, the Rangels. I am very honored. I love my family. I am honored. It is very meaningful for me that I am a part of the Rangel family. So thanks to all of my family here, the Rangels, my tias, Juanita and Rachel and Genevieve and my tio Kiko, and obviously my cousins. So.
In World War II, 17-year-old sons and daughters going to fight. Rudy and my brother Arturo, when the war started, they volunteered to go and serve. They could barely speak English, didn't have any proof of citizenship. 17. Rudy ended up fighting one of the fiercest and most decisive battles of the war, the Battle of the Bulge.
Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming Rudy Aguilar to the stage.
In recognition of your service and sacrifice to America while serving in World War II and receiving the Purple Heart in the Battle of the Bulge, also for being a proud citizen of Minnesota, raising a wonderful family, and your career employment at 3M, and to the love of your heritage and culture. Therefore, with the appreciation and respect of the Minnesota Latino community, this commendation is presented to Rudy Aguilar.
First of all, thanks for the award. Yeah. Secondly, I'd like to say thanks for honoring one of the hundreds of thousands of they get their service to this country. And I'm proud to be one of them. And I thank everybody for coming. God bless America. Oh.
Well, first say thank you to the Minnesota Timberwolves. Thank you to that team that looked around and saw the talent that Gerson Rosas has. And they named him president of basketball operations, the first Latino American to rise to that position in NBA history. How about that, folks?
My journey to the U.S. Was a very interesting process. I was very fortunate. I have two parents that realized that in order for me and my three younger brothers to have our best life, it was going to take a change of life as they knew it. The sacrifices they made being professionals in Bogota, Colombia, and realizing that the opportunities that the U.S. had, not only for them, but for our future, both in terms of education and professionally, was something special that deserved their sacrifice. For me, that process was interesting. I came over at 3 years of age, and myself and my parents were experiencing a new culture, a new life, a new language together. And that's something that's incredibly important to me. My culture, my background, my family. You know, I'm blessed that my wife has the same beliefs and thoughts that I do. Our children speak Spanish at home, and that's our way to continue our culture and continue our traditions. And it's something that when I have this conversation with my children, it's something that I want to do in Spanish so they realize the impact of where we've been and where we're going. Being the first Latino president of a basketball operations organization in the NBA is both an honor and a privilege that I take very personal. It's very humbling to me because of what the NBA is as an international organization and its impact on the sport. It's not a title or responsibility that I take lightly, and being the first just lets me know that I have to help others because there can't be only one. You know, my vision, my focus for this organization is different than most organizations. We have a very diversified approach, and it's not just male or female or races, it's approaches.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we want to introduce Gilson Rosas. In recognition of your outstanding efforts to attain the position of President of Basketball Operations for the Minnesota Timberwolves, becoming the first Latino American to run an NBA team. Also for your love of Latino heritage and culture, and for setting an example that hard work and setting goals is the way to achieve the American dream. Therefore, with the appreciation and respect of the Minnesota Latino community, this commendation is presented to Gerson Rosas, presented at the 17th Annual La Familia Latino Heritage Celebration.
Primeramente, muchas gracias por este honor tan especial que para mí es muy importante. Si no hablo en español, mis papás no me dejan regresar a mi casa. I'm very humbled. I'm not deserving to be a part of this group, especially the honorable men and women that are being honored tonight. But I'm very appreciative. Very humbly, I'll tell you, to be in a town where myself and my wife and my two children have been embraced by this community in such a rich and powerful way is very important to me. I'm also representing an organization that took a chance on a Latino to lead their basketball operations, and an owner in Glenn Taylor and Becky Taylor who believed in our vision and a different vision. You know, in this day and age, there shouldn't be as many firsts. There should be more. And I've been given the opportunity and the blessing to do what I do, and that comes with a responsibility to help others, and that's important to me. So with that, thank you very much.
We look at our next recipient, and it's Frank Ortiz, and Frank is a police officer with the St. Paul Police Department. Without further ado, I want to bring up my friend and a good friend of this community, Frank Ortiz. In recognition of your law enforcement work of keeping the peace and making the city safe for all communities, and your leadership in promoting the visions and goals of the National Latino Police Officers Association, Minnesota chapter. Also for your commitment to your heritage, culture, and community. Therefore, with the appreciation and respect of the Minnesota Latino community, this commendation is presented to Frank Ortiz.
Well, I don't really know what else to say. Thank you, Rick. Thank you for this recognition. And thank you for being a leader in our Latino community. A little bit about myself, as Rick explained it, I've been a police officer for 18 years. And at the moment that I moved to this country as an immigrant, the only place that I wanted to live, it was in St. Paul. So when somebody asked me, where do you want to work as a police officer? I said, St. Paul Police Department. I don't want to go anywhere else. So on behalf of my Minnesota chapter and the Latino Police Officer Association, thank you for that recognition.
Our next recipient is School District 197. School District 197 that serves West St. Paul, Mendota Heights, and Eagan. How about 197? I'm going to have Peter come up, Carmen, Rob. They're here, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. In recognition of the outstanding accomplishment of graduating Latino students at a record level in the 2018 school year, and to your students, staff, community leaders, and teachers who together collaborated to achieve this outcome. Also for the commitment to providing our Latino students a challenging educational environment that instills a lifelong passion for learning that empowers them to achieve their personal goals and academic potential and prepares them to be responsible citizens in an interconnected world. Therefore, with the appreciation and respect of the Minnesota Latino community, this commendation is presented to School District 197.
We're proud of this success. As I heard earlier, there's more that we need to do to earn this award. We need to continue to have this type of success with graduation, but we also need to continue to close our achievement gaps and make sure that all of our Latino population is experiencing the type of success that, and experiencing the type of support that they deserve from their education system. So I want to say thank you to Rick. I want to say thank you again to our students and our parents and our families and our staff that made this type of success possible. So thank you very much.
Now we're going to be looking at a well-known person that we have here this evening, Roma Calataud-Stock.
Good afternoon. My name is Roma Calataud-Stock, and I am happy here to be with you to talk to you about my work, A Symphony of Rivals. A Symphony of Rivals is the second book in a trilogy. The trilogy is a perspective of the 20th century, and there are three main themes to the story. One is music and the arts, as I believe that music is transcendental. Secondly is major events of the 20th century, and thirdly is the philosophical inclination of the trilogy. A Symphony of Rival is set in the years leading up to World War II, and it's the story of Alejandra Morrison, who dreams of being a symphonic conductor, and as she trains in Berlin, Germany, She has the opportunity to meet and train with some of the best conductors of the era. But there's also some upheaval going on, and she will have to make major decisions whether to stay in the United States or return to Europe during this time. Ludwig van Beethoven is part of the story, is intrinsic to the story, because as I did research, it was very important for me to highlight a German composer. And I realized that beyond his musical genius was his love of humanity. So his legacy contrasts, or you can say it serves as a moral compass against the ideologies, the opposing ideologies that are happening during this time in history.
In recognition of your passion and commitment to bring forth the contributions of all cultures through the arts and your pioneer efforts of bringing to Minnesota the diversity of Latin American music. Also for your award-winning novels set to music that provide a window to location across the world, and your service to various art organizations, and of course your love of your heritage and culture. Therefore, with the appreciation and respect of the Minnesota Latino community, this commendation is presented to Roma Calatayud Stocks, presented at the 17th Annual La Familia Latino Heritage Celebration. Congratulations, Roma.
Art, I feel, can instill values which are transformed into experiences. Art affects a positive way in our sense of self, our cultural identity, and provides the young and people across all ages with the ability to create and to have pride in their cultures. I feel we Latinos deserve a museum to commiserate with the remarkable output of artistic contributions of the last several centuries. A Latino museum in DC would also provide with the necessary recognition of our artistic contributions and influence of the American culture of the last century. I hope I have convinced you to join me in enjoying and celebrating the arts throughout your life. Muchísimas gracias, and thank you very much.
Well, we're going to honor Kiko, of course. Right, Roma? Thank you very much. Kiko Rangel. Well, what can we say about it? We got a couple of slides here, though, right, Rico? 65 years of performing. Ladies and gentlemen, Kiko Rangel. In recognition of celebrating your 65th anniversary as saxophonist extraordinaire, who has performed the traditional style of Mexican music over the years for countless Latino events and ceremonies, and introduced Latino music to Minnesotans from all walks of life. Also for your unique musicianship that able to perform music of many styles, jazz, rock, and various ethnic music, and your commitment to your heritage and culture. Therefore, with the appreciation and respect of the Minnesota Latino community, this commendation is presented to Francisco Kiko Rangel.
Rich, thank you very much, and thank you out there.
Oh, now, hey, Kiko's gonna play right now, so he's got his trio over here. Kiko's gonna do a couple of songs right now. we're gonna honor a Latina. Of course, Latinos are not last but not least. You know, they're the backbone of the Latino community. Come on, we gotta face it, man. I mean, they are the decision makers. You know, they keep that family together, and you know, even nowadays they're working. Maybe you own a business, and I think that if you look at Latinas and you hear these statistics, the fastest growing business segment in the country. How about a handful of Latinos, ladies and gentlemen? Yes, yes, we know that. And our next award recipient is just that role model. At this time, I want to honor Martha Odonis Daniels. Why don't we bring up with a big round of applause, Martha Odonis Daniels. In recognition of your outstanding service as director of Grupo de Danza Colombianas Minnesota, and to your organization's mission to improve the image of Colombia and pass on the traditions and cultures to a younger generation while entertaining Minnesotans. Also for your commitment and love of your heritage, culture, and country. Therefore, with the appreciation and respect of the Minnesota Latino community, this commendation is presented to Martha Odonis Daniels, presented at the 17th Annual La Familia Heritage Award. Martha, congratulations.
The goal of Grupo de Danzas Colombianas is to support and cultivate Colombian art and culture and improve the image of Colombia, not only in Minnesota, but all over the United States. As Grupo de Danzas Colombianas, dancers become Minnesotan Colombian ambassadors and passing on traditions and culture and creating awareness in the community of the enormous natural wealth, richness, and beauty that characterizes Colombia. One of the most fulfilling rewards of directing the group is being able to teach first-generation kids about their parents' origin and having them feel proud of our differences and encourage them to be stronger. I have the great joy of teaching all of the participants about Colombia and helping them pass that among others. Right? So Bambuco is the national dance of Colombia. So with you, I'll leave you with my lovely dancers, and thank you very much.